Good afternoon, Facebook viewers. My name's Tom Lowy. I'm a reporter and columnist from the Galesburg Register-Mail, and I'm sitting here with Ryan Hummel. Hi, Ryan.
How you doing?
Ryan Hummel is was a 21-year veteran with the Army National Guard.
Correct.
Here in Galesburg. And you are the organizer of the Veterans Day Parade.
That is true.
And there's a couple special things. We're going to talk about the Veterans Day Parade kind of in general, but first we're going to leave with the good stuff. A couple of unique things about this year's Veterans Day Parade. Ryan, tell us about that.
Okay, well, I'm excited. This year's parade, 18 years, there's been a parade going on here in Galesburg, and it's our first year to have a female veteran as a Grand Marshal. So this year's parade Grand Marshal is retired Air Force Captain Dorothy Ruberg Plunkett, and she was a nurse during the Vietnam War. So I'm really excited about that. We've had Grand Marshals from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, through every conflict, and we've never had a female veteran. Right. And she's a nurse that went to Galesburg Cottage College of Nursing.
No kidding.
So we're going to have a whole large group of them with her as well. I love nurses. I've got a lot of them in my family, sisters, aunts, cousins, and this is one of those chances to tell a story people don't always see in the war. You hear about the infantry, you hear about artillery, and I just think it's a really unique chance to tell a different story. She'll be speaking at the courthouse
at the courthouse at the end of the parade.
I really hope that event gets a big turnout. You got to cross your fingers for good weather.
Right.
But yes, we have our first female Grand Marshal. So.
First female Grand Marshal, 18 straight years.
Correct.
And the parade is on a Sunday, of course.
Yes.
And it's on actual Veterans Day.
Yes, we don't get to do that often as well. With always trying to do the parade on a Sunday, you know, it falls as close as we can get it every year to Veterans Day. So this year it is Sunday, November 11th at 2 o'clock. Kickoff starts at the intersection of Seminary and Ferris Streets. I'll be there from 1 o'clock on, lining up the mess, and parade takes a traditional parade route. Main Street, Cherry Street, concludes at the courthouse, where we'll have ceremony there, singing of the national anthem, speech by our Grand Marshal, and a speech by the mayor. So,
pretty excited for the day. I don't want this to be a throwaway question. One question that I didn't ask you to let people know, we've just sat for a half hour or so talking for a Veterans Day tab. But Veterans Day, why did you get involved with the parade, and why is it special to you? Is it a little different each year, or is there an overriding theme for you?
I got involved with it just helping a friend, assisting with the lineup and running around.
Right.
Kind of being a gopher down there at the madness of getting everybody lined up and in order.
Right.
At you know, the lead up to the event, and then started just taking over a little bigger role with it every year, and been organizing it now for a number of years. I want to say the last 5-6 years. So what it means to me, obviously being a veteran, I joined at 17, so the military was always part of my entire adult life.
Right.
But getting to show the public what we do, getting to honor veterans past and present. Galesburg's a very patriotic community. The years that I was active, that I was AGR here at the Armory, you almost can't go eat lunch in uniform without someone paying for your meal.
Right.
And you don't have that all across this country. But Galesburg is a very patriotic community. It's a very military supportive community.
Right.
So the turnout has always been phenomenal. We had one year it poured on us.
Right.
And we still had bands marching.
Right.
People
I remember that
people
year
didn't show up and go, oh, we ain't doing this.
Right.
And there were still people out on the streets.
Right. Absolutely.
So I'll do it as long as I can.
I found something interesting in your comments about this year's Grand Marshal, the chance to hear stories. That's really important, isn't it? I mean, for people to tell stories in their own words in the first person.
You know, that's very veteran specific. Some people, you hear so many stories
Right.
of my dad never talked about it, or my grandpa never talked about it. People didn't know someone was even a veteran. And
Right.
for some people, talking about it isn't good. For others, it's very therapeutic.
Right.
I can openly talk about what I've done, and I think it helps. So that is a very veteran specific thing, but you know, a lot of guys do just want someone to talk to, and you know, to be able to shine a light on a different aspect of our service. It's so, I mean, there's 1.1 million soldiers just in the Army, and
Right.
you got the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Coast Guard. So I really like that we're seeing a female nurse from the
Right.
Vietnam War. That's just, it's awesome. I love
An
it.
aspect of service that people don't automatically think of, as you mentioned earlier.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, so let's talk again. Let's rewind here a little bit and kind of repeat things since we're live on video. Veterans Day Parade. Tell us where, when, and why it's important.
Okay. Where and when? It's going to be Sunday, November 11th on Veterans Day, downtown Galesburg. Starts at 2 o'clock, intersection of Seminary and Ferris Streets, and concludes at the courthouse. Traditional parade route concludes at the courthouse with a ceremony. The parade, my last few years' parade's usually been about 45 minutes.
Right.
So a good long
It
parade.
is.
So plan probably 2:45, 3 o'clock at the courthouse event. If you can't make both, I really hope we get a good turnout, because we had to stop doing that for a few years just due to not having enough. I didn't have enough help to handle both ends of the parade.
Yeah.
So firing back up the courthouse event's been a really
And you mentioned that
good
because
thing.
last year was a good one too. With you said
Yes.
Representative Daniel Swanson,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
And that kind, you think that kind of reignited some interest?
I truly hope so. And as long as the weather holds out, you know, people want to come out and hear a unique story and meet a great veteran. And of course, like I say, the mayor will be there speaking as well. It's always great to see our public officials out.
Right.
And why it's important, you know, to me, you're just thanking a very, very, very small percentage of the population that did something that sometimes is the greatest thing in people's lives.
Right.
So they, you know, they don't always want a light shown upon them, but you feel good when people thank you. Some people, it's kind of awkward. You don't know what to say. I always liked going and talking to schools. Schools would call the armory and ask for someone to come speak on Veterans Day, and that was always one of my favorite things to do, is go visit grade schools, junior highs, high schools. The questions you get are hilarious from the younger kids especially. But some of the kids, as they get older, got some pretty deep stuff.
Sure.
And fighting, and as long as we've been fighting in Afghanistan and Iraq, a lot of kids have veterans in their family.
Yep.
So a little kid's going, "Do you know my Uncle John?" And other people have some pretty real questions. But I would always try to tell the kids, we would show them things. I'd bring in an artillery shell. I'd bring in body armor and a helmet. But one of the things we always talked about was thanking veterans, just to say thank you for your service. And a veteran will usually come back with thank you for your support.
Right.
So a lot of people, it's kind of an awkward exchange, but they don't know. So that's why I like telling the kids that, was to say thank you for your service.
Well, I don't want to make you feel awkward, but on behalf of viewers in the Register Mail, I want to thank you, not only for your service, but for talking about it and being so candid about it, both for our Veterans tab, which is coming up, and also taking the time to do live video. Knocked it out of the ballpark. You're good.
I'm not shy. I don't ever have a problem talking in front of people. Anyone that knows me probably tell you that. So I'll be doing this as long as I can. I love doing it, and I just hope we get a good turnout. I hope we get good weather that day.
Good weather, right? Yeah.
It's hard to stand there with the kids for 45 minutes
Yeah.
in a downpour or
Yeah.
snow. So cross your fingers and toes.
We've been good so far. I think it'll hold out. I'm hoping.
It's all you can do. So
Ryan Hummel, I want to thank you very much.
thank you.
Thanks for taking the time today. Facebook viewers, thank you for joining us once again. November 11th, Sunday, The parade starts at 2 p.m. Find Main Street and you'll find the parade. And about 45 minutes later, that parade will conclude at the courthouse, at which time you'll get a chance to hear some speakers and some really interesting, important points of view, including a Captain Dorothy Ruberg Plunkett. Thank you, Ryan.
Yes.
And she was a nurse, Vietnam-era nurse. And so, Ryan, once again, thank you for joining us. Facebook viewers, thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you out at Sunday, November 11th's Veterans Day Parade. Thanks.
Thank you.